Evergreen paintings that cost a fortune. As it stands, art seems to be the goldmine, and the elites are not going to stop splurging cash on it. Aside fast cars, big mansions, and investment, art seems to be the next thing the rich splash their wealth on. So let's get to the business of the day. Hey everyone, welcome to your favorite luxury channel, and in today's video, we will be discussing evergreen paintings that cost a fortune. Without further ado, let's get into it. Untitled, Jean-Michel Basquiat, $110.5 million. Untitled by NYC graffiti artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. His world-famous depiction of a skull using spray paint sold for more than $110.5 million in 2017. The sale made Untitled the highest price ever paid for a piece of art created after 1980. Basquiat worked with artists like Andy Warhol and exhibited his work in some of the world's most prestigious galleries. Yusaku Maezawa, a Japanese billionaire, purchased Untitled for his collection. Reclining nude with blue cushion. Amedeo Modigliani, $118 million. Next up is the 1917 piece, Reclining Nude with Blue Cushion by Amedeo Modigliani. It is one of several nude female portraits he's known for creating. Modigliani is also known for his interesting character and behavior, as he would often swap or trade his paintings for alcohol, food, or drugs. Reclining Nude with Blue Cushion was purchased by a Russian billionaire, Dmitry Rybolovlevin, in 2012. The Scream, Edvard Munch, $119.9 million. As well as being one of the most expensive paintings in the world, The Scream is also one of the most famous and iconic. There are 4 versions of The Scream, and this one is a lot less valuable than the 1893 oil painting rendition, which is currently on display in Oslo, Norway's National Gallery. The Scream was purchased by billionaire financier Leon Black in 2012. Portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer I, Gustav Klimt, $5 million. Next on the list is The Lady in Gold, painted by Austrian artist Gustav Klimt. The painting is of a Jewish banker's wife set in 1907 and was purchased by Ronald Lauder, a Russian billionaire, in 2006. Portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer is currently being displayed in New York's New Gallery. Woman 3, Willem de Kooning, $137.5 million. Painted by Dutch expressionist Willem de Kooning in the early 1950s, Woman 3 sold for $137.5 million in 2006. It was previously housed in Tehran's Museum of Contemporary Art, Iran. However, it was considered to be too offensive to the eye and taken down. After a short stint with David Geffen, billionaire hedge fund manager Stephen A. Cohen acquired it for his private collection. Number 5, 1948, Jackson Pollock, $140 million. If you had $140 million to invest, then the number 5, 1948 by Jackson Pollock could have been just the investment you were looking for. However, it sold to an unknown buyer in 2006, and interestingly, was actually not the original piece. It was sold just over a year later to the artist Alfonso A. Osorio for a mere $1,500. After being damaged in Osorio's house, Pollock offered to repair it, but ended up repainting the whole thing. 3 Studies of Lucian Freud, Francis Bacon, $142.4 million. Francis Bacon painted this piece of his friend and rival Lucian Freud in 1969. It became one of the most expensive and famous paintings ever, eventually catching the eye of Elaine Wynn, who bought it at auction in 2013. The sale was at the time a record auction price, however, it has since been surpassed by some of the other paintings on this list. Le Rêve, Pablo Picasso, $155 million. Le Rêve, or The Dream as it translates, is one of Picasso's most iconic paintings. The piece of art is of Marie-Thérèse Walter, who was Picasso's mistress. Casino tycoon Steve Wynn owned the artwork for 12 years and agreed to sell it to Stephen A. Cohen. However, after a slip of an elbow from Mr. Wynn, the painting was devalued by $55 million and the deal was put on hold until it was fully restored. Cohen did eventually buy the painting, but for a lot less than previously agreed. Masterpiece, Roy Lichtenstein, $165 million. The painting was inspired by comic book illustrations and competes alongside some of his other famous pieces, including Wham! And Look Mickey. In 2017, a hedge fund billionaire and avid art collector, Stephen A. Cohen, bought the piece for the hefty sum of $165 million. Les Femmes Derrière, Version O, Pablo Picasso, $197.4 million. Les Femmes d'Alger version O was part of the 1954-55 series from Picasso called Les Femmes d'Alger, Women of Algiers. It was the last of 15 versions in the series, which was considered to be a tribute to his friend Henri Matisse. Until Salvatore Mundi broke the record, Les Femmes d'Alger version O was the most expensive painting sold at auction for 2 years. The piece was purchased by Hamad bin Jassim bin Jaber Al Thani, the former Prime Minister of Qatar. Pendant portraits of Martin Sulmans and Eugène Coupet, Rembrandt, $180 million. Painted to celebrate the wedding of Martin and Eugène in 1634, these two Rembrandt paintings have never been separated. Art experts and historians agree that the paintings should always be displayed together and never apart. They were purchased by the Louvre and the Rijksmuseum in 2015 as a joint venture, each paying 50%. Number 6, Violet, Green, and Red, Mark Rothko, $186 million. It might not be to everyone's taste, but number 6, Violet, Green, and Red has had a profound influence on contemporary art since its release. The painting might be even more famous for being one of 36 pieces in the Beauvais affair. This is an ongoing court battle between Russian tycoon Dmitry Rybolovlev and his art dealer Yves Beauvais. Dmitry claims that Yves defrauded him out of hundreds of millions of dollars, overcharging him for multiple paintings, which Yves strongly denies. Number 17A, Jackson Pollock, $200 million. This 1948 painting by Jackson Pollock was the second piece of artwork bought in a $500 million deal by hedge fund manager Kenneth C. Griffin in 2015. Number 17A isn't on public display at the moment. However, there are many exceptional Pollock collections on display in museums around the world, including the New York's Museum of Modern Art. Nafea Fa Ipoipo, Paul Gauguin, $210 million. French post-impressionist Paul Gauguin painted this piece when he was on his first trip to Tahiti. It was one of many he painted of the native woman on the island, and its title translates to "When Will You Marry?" The artwork has also previously been called the most expensive painting in the world, selling for $210 million in 2015 after 2 years of negotiations. The Card Players, Paul Cézanne, $250 million. The Card Players by Paul Cézanne. It's one of 5 paintings included in the French master's 1890 series of the same name. It was purchased by the royal family of Qatar in 2011, reportedly paying double the existing record for any artwork to be sold at auction. Interchange, Willem de Kooning, $300 million. Willem de Kooning's famed 1955 piece was inspired by his surroundings whilst living in NYC and commanded the highest price ever paid in a private sale. Hedge fund billionaire Kenneth C. Griffin bought it alongside his Jackson Pollock number 17A purchase in a $500 million deal. If you want to take a look at one of the most expensive paintings in the world, then the Interchange is currently displayed at the Art Institute of Chicago. Salvatore Mundi, Leonardo da Vinci, $450.3 million. Leonardo da Vinci's depiction of Jesus Christ holding a crystal orb is the most expensive painting in the world. The painting was commissioned by King Louis XII of France in 1605, during the same period as the Mona Lisa. However, somewhere between 1763 and 1900, it disappeared from all records until it was rediscovered in 2005 by a group of British art dealers. Purchasing the painting for $10,000, they spent 6 years restoring and investigating its history before eventually announcing that it was a Da Vinci original. The painting was exhibited in 2011 by the National Gallery of London and became known as the Lost Leonardo, as it was the first discovery of a Da Vinci since 1909. The Savior of the World was purchased by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, on behalf of the Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism. There you have it all, guys. Let us know your thoughts about the video in the comment section. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and smash the notification icon to get notified whenever we release a new video. We'll see you in the next one.